Please remember to subscribe, click like, and click the bell icon for all notifications on this channel. So NXT came to us again, like Raw and SmackDown, came to us from the PC. We didn't have any matches, no one in attendance except for Tom Phillips and Triple H. And all they talked about was three things for this edition of NXT for March 18th, 2020. They first talked about Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. They then go into a package of their various highlights in their life, right, leading up to where they are now. We first see them the PC. We see them training. At first, they were told that they didn't have what it takes and that they were going to be, you know, let go, or they weren't going to be accepted at that moment. But then they decided to kind of let them know that, hey, how about you put us together in the Cruiserweight Classic? I remember that match. Classic. Great match. They had respect for each other at the end. They even sat in the ring together with the arms around each other. And they took that and they decided to become DIY. We see the formation of DIY and the eventuality of them becoming the NXT Tag Team Champions. We then see through they lose titles to the AOP. They weren't able to regain it in a triple threat match that involved AOP and the Dash and Wilder. Their tag team name escapes me at the moment. But Revival. And they weren't able to win. And then they had one more match, which was a one-on-one match, a ladder match against the AOP. And we all know what happened. They did not, or were not able to reclaim their gold and get it back. And then we saw, of course, Tommaso Ciampa turn on Johnny and throw him into the stage, and then he would just carrying him, he would dive off of the stage onto through a announcer's table below. And he did that, and knowing that he was injured and that he was going to go away for 9 months, have surgery, and be away for 9 months. We then see, as Gargano is gone. As Ciampa's gone, Gargano is fighting himself. Johnny Gargano, he's Johnny Wrestling, and series of matches. We see, of course, Tommaso Ciampa having to relinquish the belt, and so it came down to Gargano and Adam Cole, to crown a new champion, NXT champion. He defeats him in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Does Gargano becomes the new champion, but it was short lived. As he lost it back to Adam Cole. But the one thing we see is that Ciampa, as he said, didn't do nothing, didn't interfere in the match. It was afterwards that he attacked Gargano. Gargano was unable to win the title back. So we see what happens with them. And then, of course, Gargano then brings up how no matter what, he went through with Ciampa, pretty much trying to, put him out of wrestling. When Ciampa comes back, he comes back to a hero's welcome. People are chanting, "Daddy's home" and Goldie and all that, right? And then when he has a shot at the title, Gargano interferes, hits him with the belt, and costs you know Tommaso Ciampa the opportunity to win back his NXT championship. Gargano said this. He goes, "The reason why I did it is because that same look that was on his face the day that he turned on him was there again, and that's why he did what he did." And I always talk about you know the thing about how people forget. I understand that Tommaso Ciampa is a babyface, so they're gonna side with the babyface. But when you have commentators and you have WWE telling the story and they're wondering why Gargano did it, there's a history between them. 3 years. People forgot the 3 years between him and the history between him and Gargano. Ciampa and Gargano. It then, of course, ends with when we see, you know, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano at the PC, pretty much destroying the Performance Center. Triple H even brought it up during one of the breaks between the storytelling, and it's like they destroy him, and then you see, of course, Ciampa putting Gargano through the announce table below, off of the perch. And they didn't say what's going to happen between them, going forward. There definitely is bad blood right there. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to remember if they announced anything for Takeover, but I do know this that it definitely isn't over between Gargano and Ciampa. This is probably one of the best, well told stories. Well written, well mapped out. Everything has gone smoothly. There has not been a bump or any kind of a setback in the storytelling between these two. And who knows how it's going to end? You know, I don't know. I mean, there might be a thing where they're going to, do where loser leaves WWE. I mean, is NXT and WWE for that matter big enough to hold both those guys? You know, because if they destroy the PC like that, they're going to destroy everything when it comes to their rivalry and their feud. But I liked it. I liked that little package that they had. Showing the from the time they're at the PC, their tryout to present day. Well done. And I really, really like that setup. And it's really definitely setting up for something big down the line. Now, the next thing is they talk about Balor's journey to NXT. We all know that he left the main roster and he's back in NXT. And, Finn is sitting there, silhouette, talking about his 2014 debut. He would go on to dominate on his way to becoming the NXT champion, and he held that title for 292 days. He then, of course, we all know he was a first round draft pick in the Superstar Shakeup, and he became, a first round draft pick for Raw. He would then win the Universal title, becoming the first ever Universal champion. But unfortunately, we all know he ended up having to surrender the title, giving it to Mick Foley, who was the general manager at the time. And that was pretty it was pretty tough. You know what I mean? Because it's like the guy definitely was getting a pretty much a rocket ship, strapped onto his back, and they're going to let him go. You know what I mean? And this happens, and then he's out. He's out. He's gone for many many months. When he comes back, he is not the same person in the sense that they really couldn't find nothing for him. He was very dominant. He even brought up that in matches that he had one on one with Lashley, with Corbin, and others, he brought them to their best matches. And I remember those matches and how dominant he was and how he made these other guys look good. I've noticed that Lashley, Corbin, and the others that were mentioned They're nowhere. They don't have any kind of direction. They needed someone like a Finn Balor, and unfortunately, they're saddled with other people that are not pushing them, to be their best, like what Balor said. And then we have the when he finally gets his one-on-one opportunity to win back the Universal Championship that he never lost. He was against Brock Lesnar. He ended up he really took it to Lesnar, brought Lesnar to a good match. Lesnar brought a lot out of him, but of course he was unable to win the title back. But the one thing that he brought up, he said that facing Brock Lesnar in that match saved his life. What it did, that match at the end, he lost, right? But it reignited, I should say, the passion in Finn Balor again to wrestle, not to worry about the road, t-shirt selling t-shirts, the merchandise and promotion and all the other things that was kind of like distracting him from the reason why he's been a wrestler now for 20 years, and that is you know the passion to wrestle. And Brock Lesnar brought that out in him, you know. And so of course he came up with the idea he wanted to come back to NXT. And when he did, he made quite a splash. He would go on to turn on Gargano. And we all know what happened there. They go to take over Portland. They pretty much are like the match. It pretty much brought the house down. The match was excellent. We see, of course, Finn Balor win the match. And it's just, it's like it was something that needed to be done. Like he needed to, you know, go to back to NXT and pretty much show us why, like in his words, that he is the best wrestler in the world. He says it was time to bring the Prince back. We all know, those of us who follow Finn Balor, that when he was in the independent scene, he was known as Prince Devitt. So coming here to NXT, he brought that back when he came back to NXT. And now his next target is Walter. Definitely that nice shiny belt on Walter's big broad shoulders. And the NXT UK Championship is what he wants. He's held every goal that you can imagine. Main roster, NXT UK. That's the logical next step for him. And I think that he's going to bring Walter to a really great match, and I think Walter will do the same for him, like a la what Brock did to thing. Because Walter, as big as he is a very agile guy, very big, but he's also very quick. And it's very, very unnerving when you have somebody like that. It's like with Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar, like I said. You got, what's that? Dave Mastiff in NXT UK. Big guys, and they can move like the cruiserweights. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. I mean, even Killian Dane could be like that when pushed right. So that was a really good, also a really good segment. I mean, the NXT really did a good job in the who they picked to feature this week. No matches, like I said, no in-ring promos, but we saw this, and it was great. And then the next one, which topped off the show, which ended it actually, was Rhea Ripley's journey to WrestleMania. We see the same thing with I mean, us go from the beginning. She was in the Mae Young Classic. I remember seeing her in the Mae Young Classic. I'm going, look at this girl. She's a big girl. She has a unique look to her, but really it was nothing special when you saw her. You know, she did decently, but she wasn't being herself. And then when she comes back to the next tournament, we see her in the look that she has now. Rocker chick type of thing. With the music and everything. you know. And then she takes that to the NXT UK Women's title match tournament. And she becomes the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion. And of course, we've seen her, classic matches against Tony Storm. She dropped the title to Tony Storm, but en route to that, they had some great matches. She faced others as well. And when she dropped the title, she was, kind of floating around until she decided to go to NXT and confront Shayna Baszler, who was then the NXT Women's Champion. And then we saw what happened to her that kind of cemented her place in WWE. She led her team NXT to victory in Survivor Series last year. She also, before that, she was in Takeover, the Takeover War Games, and she led her team to victory. She was the one that got the pinfall as well. That's when you know that Rhea Ripley arrived and that her name was definitely going to be on everybody's lips. Then it gets some eventuality where she faces Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. She does a riptide off of the top rope, and she pins Shayna Baszler 1, 2, 3, and becomes the new NXT Women's Champion, and that is what she is to this day. We all see that, of course. We know that she ended up confronting the newly crowned Royal Rumble winner for the women's. That's being Charlotte. And then Charlotte, of course, she dilly dallied and held off her decision and finally decided, yeah, I'm going to face you for the NXT Women's Championship. But of course, in route to that, before she was going to do that, she had to defend the title against Bianca Belair. She successfully defends her title to really cement her place and really, that's she's going to be the champion going into WrestleMania. No question about it, no doubt on that. And then, what I liked about is that how she ended up saying kind of a way to make her match at WrestleMania, which is going to be at the PC, more more interesting is that she's now saying that yeah, you Charlotte, you're used to big arenas, big stadiums. That's your domain. Well, you're going to be facing me in my domain, and that is the Performance Center. I kind of like that because it does make it more interesting that we want to see them now wrestle at the Performance Center. You know, and that's pretty good, man. That's a good way to kind of twist it around, and I mean to kind of spin it so that it makes you not feel bad for them. Because I was thinking like, wow, her first WrestleMania and it's going to be in a small place like the PC, as compared to the what's that, the Raymond J whatever the stadium was that they were going to be in Tampa. Big difference, but I think it's about their performance and about their match. I mean, to go to AEW, it kind of connects to this. Jericho was talking about how he liked the whole empty stadium thing because it reminded him of his earlier days in wrestling, where he sometimes would wrestle in front of nobody or a few people. And I'm pretty sure that Rhea Ripley is used to that, being coming from the independence and doing her time before she came to WWE. And the fact that she's saying that, and now that's the thing now, it's my domain. This is the PC. This is my home. So you're gonna have to take the title from me. If you want it, you're gonna have to do it in my turf. On my turf, in my turf. On my turf. You know what I mean? So I actually really really like that. And of course, she ends it off by saying that this is my domain, but I'm walking in my domain as a champ, and I will be walking out as the NXT Women's Champion. I really, really enjoyed the three segments. Really well done by NXT, by WWE. Triple H really just continues to really just continue to set this NXT on this path to dominance. How it just continues to make it the brand that everyone wants to watch. I mean, Raw is improving a little bit because of Paul Heyman, SmackDown kind of fell off a little bit, but NXT continues to maintain. I mean, yeah, it's falling at times to in the ratings war, if there is such a thing with AEW. I say is such a thing because it's like it's still early and they're trying to say like it's a war. It's not. It's kind of like what I mean. It's a little trickle here and there. NXT. I mean AEW is just starting out, but yeah, AEW is almost every week. It's up there in the ratings as compared to NXT, but doesn't mean that its product is better than NXT. I don't know. NXT was great this month. I mean, this past Wednesday, even though you only had a few of their guys in attendance there watching, but they made it really rowdy and they really made it enjoyable because they were interacting with the wrestlers as well. Like I said, I wish that NXT and WWE main roster would do that too. Let's see if they do that for WrestleMania. And I just heard, I read actually that NXT, I mean not NXT, but the WrestleMania is going to be a 2 night affair. It's going to be held on 2 nights. So I'm thinking if that's the case, they more likely are going to have one main event, on Saturday, and then Sunday would be the other main event. So I guess Saturday would be McIntyre and Brock main eventing, and then the next night would be Roman Reigns and Goldberg, or they might have the women. Why not? Since it's the first time for the NXT Championship, how about on the first night it'd be Rhea and Charlotte main eventing with the NXT Women's Title on the line, and then the next event, and the next day toss up whoever. I guarantee you, if McMahon in charge, and McMahon's going to make changes last minute like he always does. He'll put Roman in the main event with Goldberg. That's a mistake. They should open it because it's the Universal title. It's not the main title. WWE title is always the main title. That is the bread and butter of WWE. That is the title that put them on the map. You know what I mean? It's not the Universal title. Roman Reigns already has had his main events. I think he's okay. He's got 4. Drew McIntyre has had what? Big Goose Egg? 0. Give him it. Give him the main event. You know what I mean? Because he may never have the main event again. All of the things just lined up for him. Everything. It's like with Kofi last year. Everything lined up with Kofi. He was able to main event and he became WWE champion. He's not going to have that ever again. And good thing that they gave it to him. Do that for Drew as well, because he deserves it. He's worked hard. He's gotten, he's in best shape of his life. He's focused, laser focused, more than when he was a young 19-year-old when he first signed with WWE. And probably a little bit of arrogance there. I mean, McMahon saying that he was the chosen one got to his head, and all kinds of other issues, marriage, and that affected him, and everything like that too. So it's like he's focused now, laser focused, and I think that he and Brock will put on an excellent match. It's going to be a definite, could be easily be a 5-star match. And those two can easily bring each other to an amazing contest. Brock and I mean Goldberg and Roman Reigns, chokehold punch, tie up, Superman punch. It's just basic shit between them. But you're gonna get a classic from Brock and McIntyre. And from what I hear, I believe I've heard that Brock likes Drew, so that he's gonna let Drew go over him and become the new champion. He's gonna take shit. He's gonna take everything that Drew gets. He's gonna give Drew everything he gets, and they're gonna put on a great match. You see what happened when he was wrestling Styles. He wrestled, Brian, even Finn. They gave each other everything. They took it to each other, and they were able to put on great matches. If Brock doesn't like you, he will not sell for you. We saw the case in point when it came to Drew, when it came to Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. So that's my video. I really enjoyed NXT this week. Let's see what happens next week and what they present. Maybe some more vignettes, maybe some more focus on their superstars. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think NXT is has the right idea and what they're doing right now to hype up NXT Takeover. don't know if it's called Tampa anymore. This is probably NXT Takeover Orlando, maybe, or Florida. But yeah, that's my video. And like a boy said, in every video, I'm going to make a mention of my channel. And for those of you who stop by and check out my videos and look at my channel, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you do, click the bell icon so you can receive notifications whenever I upload, and also share my videos if you like on any of your social media platforms, whatever you do, whether it be Twitter and Facebook and whatever it is. I appreciate the help. I'm a small channel and I'm trying to build up, and I'm just asking, out of goodness of your heart, if you guys want to, you guys can. If you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. You can watch my videos. That's fine. That's fine. Don't even have to throw me a thumbs up, share, or like, or even subscribe. But I appreciate it. I really would. It would help my channel. But whatever you do, just please keep coming back and watch my channel and my videos that I post up. And like I said, NXT was great. And for those of you who stopped by and checked out my video, I appreciate it. And in closing, and as always, take care.